first of the tools we used was Pythagorean theorem.
Could you focus the camera anymore?
You mean zoom in? I'll hit focus again. There we go. Okay, we use Pythagorean theorem when?
Right triangle.
Okay, have to have a right triangle. We must have a right triangle. And when we're wanting to find what? Third side length. And as a reminder, Pythagorean theorem is leg squared plus the leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. That's a more accurate way of stating it. Okay, let's say we have SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent. Which is opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, and opposite over adjacent. Okay, when do we use just regular trig functions? Sine, cosine, and tangent. No inverse. An angle and two measurements. In what type of triangle? In a right triangle. So we must have a right triangle one angle measure and in addition to that angle measure what else do you have to have besides an angle measure? And a side length. Okay, and these regular trig functions helps us find regular trig functions helps us find what? Missing side lengths. Okay, let's say inverse trig functions now. So these would be inverse sine, inverse cosine, and inverse tangent. Okay, to have inverse sine, what do we have to have? The opposite side and the hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent in hypotenuse. And tangent? And these are all, no, they're side links. We must have side links. And then what about that triangle is special? It has to be a right triangle. And then these inverse trig functions helps us find what? Helps us find missing angle measures. Yep. Okay. Now we have law of sines. And there's two versions of this. One version okay, and now the sides and the angles. What's special about the sides and the angles in law of sines? What's that? They have to be matched up. They have to be opposite from one another. So side A and angle A are opposite. From each other, etc. Okay, so this type helps us find sides, while this type helps us find angles. Okay, to use the type that helps us find sides, how many sides do we have to have? We have one side. We have to have one side. Its opposite angle. And one other angle. Are you guys okay with me using angle like that? Do you understand what I'm writing when I write angle like that? Okay. Okay, in this case we have two angles and one opposite side. Yes?
Can't you just like have one angle or another angle or another side? What does that have to be specifically an angle?
So you can only have one unknown.
Yeah, but does it have to be an angle?
It depends on which of the two you're using.
Yeah, it depends on which of the two
like,
you're using.
The side ones, does it have to be an angle?
Yes. So in this case, if I was using law of sines, I would know either A or B, but I would have to have both angles A and B
For finding the side.
for finding the side. Yes.
On our quiz, are you can give us this exact color or this whole toolkit?
Something like this.
No.
On the test, yeah, it'll be like this.
But like,
exactly.
exactly. Because sometimes you like take out the most important parts, and then you.
It's because we got to remember something.
Why can't we just use these now?
We're going to be having enough practice. Trust me. Here's what the rest of the year looks like. So today we're practicing law of sines. The next day we're going to learn about law of cosines. Then we're going to practice law of cosines. Then we're going to practice law of sines and cosines together. And these are all separate days. And then we're going to practice everything that we have in Trig together for 2 straight days. You'll have a review day and then a test day finally. There is a lot of practice left.
And it's also a lot of stuff.
There's still a lot of practice. Most schools do not give you anything on tests, so we've given you something. Okay, now, a reminder when you have angles. Remember to use inverse sine once you've solved for sine of an angle. Okay? And the special part about law of sines, it can be used in any triangle. It can be used in right triangles, yes. So when we come back, do a couple practice ones and a couple examples, and then we're going to have time for practice, okay? That's all today is. You should have gobs of time for practice. Yes?
Why would you need 2 angles for that? Because if you have 2 angles, why can't you just subtract from 1
Oops, you're right. 2 sides. Thank you. Two sides and 1 opposite angle. I apologize for that. The good catch. Good catch.